hit start. Your event is going live. Okay, so it should be good. It says that the stream
We
status is
should be.
bad. Hopefully that'll correct itself in a little bit.
I
Uh,
blame your shitty connection.
it's pretty good. I think I accidentally overdo the settings. I think that
What does
is
that even mean?
like I mean I should be able to get 6,000 or 6 megs up, but anyway, sorry. I digress. We've started this podcast. So hey guys,
We
I'm
have.
Josh Raptor. Over there is Grand Marshal.
Yo.
I tilted my head to the right, but I think it's not a mirrored display, so it looks like I just have like a weird neck twitch
Hold
in the
on. Before
box.
I do anything, I'm going to zoom myself out just a smidge. So that way I'm not super
That's I did not know you
closer.
had the ability to do that.
Yep. I always move myself in a little bit because I have a lot of like headroom around me, like on the default setting of my camera. So I zoom myself in a little bit too much, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
I'm still working on it. I
Yeah,
mean,
we'll work on it. How you doing,
it's
Wallace? It's good to see you, man.
howdy, Wallace. Good to see you, buddy.
So on today's episode, we are talking about Walmart in Canada. So Walmart Canada
Those
has
crazy Canucks.
has accidentally released an insane amount of games that a lot of them we knew about and a lot that we didn't know about that are probably going to be talked about at E3. So they accidentally
At least
opened,
be revealed.
or
Yeah.
at least, yeah, at the very least be revealed, and then kind of will start allowing pre-orders to begin, regardless of anything. And it is quite a list.
It is certainly a big list.
And leaks happen often. I don't understand how something like this could happen to Walmart because Walmart doesn't. They're not an exclusive supplier of anything, but regardless, they just released a whole bunch of stuff that
Yep.
it's and this isn't the first huge leak, and it won't be the last for sure. But this is
But
a
this
pretty
is a
big
big
deal.
one, and I will state this for the record: a lot of this is probably real, simply because one of these at least one of these games on here, is published by Bethesda. To which they've basically said, like the head of Bethesda's like tweeted, and this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah,
So
and so basically, the list is shown to be correct. It is accurate
at
to what
least
we
for the
know.
Bethesda stuff, we don't know necessarily for some of this, but it kind of makes sense for some of it. So
Right. Some of the stuff that so it doesn't seem like anything new was dropped about a Sony published game or a Nintendo published game. It just seems like these are all third-party
third
developers.
parties, yes.
So there's definitely still more. Despite us knowing the names of some of these games, we still don't know anything about them, but we know that a lot of these they weren't on anyone's radar, and then now we basically know exactly if they're going to be at E3. Um,
Yeah.
so we're gonna kind of go down the list, say whether or not we're excited about it, it's a good idea, bad idea, and then kind of go from there. And like we said, we only have the list. We don't necessarily have more than that, so we can't.
Yeah.
So that's about it. So Marsh, go ahead and kick us off.
So first thing, I'm actually on Games Radar, which is one of the first places that had this information. And some of these, and they don't go through every single one of them, but they go through like the big ones. And one of the first ones that they drop information on is for a new Splinter Cell game. Um,
Yes, I was
and
surprised about that.
yes, well, here's the thing: Splinter Cell Blacklist actually did fairly well. I believe.
Was that for the
Uh,
360 or was that newer?
that was for everything. That was
Oh,
also for I played it on PC.
I don't
It was
remember that well, actually, at all.
it it was the first Splinter Cell that did not have Michael Ironside voicing Sam.
Okay,
It was kind of sort of like a soft reboot for the game, for the
okay.
series, and it played off more of like Splinter Cell Convictions type of gameplay where it was a little bit more actiony, where you can like um mark targets and stuff like that, and then when you kill a guy, you can activate your execution on all the targets you've marked and stuff. Um
Oh,
I
okay.
had a lot of fun with it, and like you could totally go through that game and not kill anybody. You can totally go through that game and not even knock anybody out. You can just do that, or you can just go guns blazing. It rewarded you however which way, but usually if you were way more stealthy and didn't kill, it actually gave you way more experience. So it was a much better incentive to do that, which I thought was a lot of fun.
That's good
Um,
because they didn't do the really crappy Deus Ex Human Mankind because you got more points for being stealthy, so you put more points into being stealthy, and then you got
that
to
was
one
such,
boss and literally could not beat him.
Well, that was specifically for the first game where
It
you had
it was
those were so,
specifically,
it was the worst boss fights
and
ever.
they fixed it. There have been numerous updates, and they have fixed that issue,
Yeah.
but I cannot get that out of my brain, and
Oh
I
no, it's
refuse to
bad.
go back to it.
What's interesting about the Splinter Cell thing, before we quickly move on, is that it's possible that we are going to get Michael Ironside back to voice because,
Oh,
as it turns out, Sam made a cameo in Splinter. I mean, Ghost Recon Wildlands as a random mission that you took, and it's old Sam Fisher with super gray beard and super gray
and
hair.
the three,
Yep,
oh
and
sweet,
the goggles and everything, and he's talking, and he's like, hurt, not many people like you around, all that stuff. Yeah, me and another guy, army infiltration, wore a bandana, and then the handler he's
was it
talking to,
Snake?
yes,
Oh, it
and
was actually.
as it turns out, Metal Gear and Splinter Cell have been making goofs on each other for so many games now.
Serious? Oh my
That's a
god.
thing. And here's the thing: the very depressing part about it is the handler goes, "I heard he retired," and then Sam has an off thing where he kind of has 1,000 yard stare and goes, "Oh, then it's only me." And he just kind of trails off, and it's just like, and then it continues with the conversation, but it's so depressing because he's the only one that's left. Like literally, Sam is the only stealth action hero who is left because Metal Gear's done, and the other one that they also made fun of, they did nods to, was Siphon Filter as well, when Metal
Oh
Gear would
yeah.
bring up Gage. But yeah, that's it. But yeah, it's hopefully we might get Michael Ironside back, and I hope so because dude's pushing 70 now. Like no joke,
Jeez.
he's getting old.
Do you
And
think that they're going to do a old man Splinter Cell, or do you think they're going to try and reboot the series like they kind of did with Tomb Raider?
well, they already did reboot it with Blacklist in 2013 with a kind of pseudo younger Sam, even though it was still a
Oh,
continuation of the story.
okay,
But in Wildlands, he's older. Like he's
okay.
legitimately older. He's got gray hair. He's got gray beard and all that. I'm looking at the picture, and yeah, I mean, I hope that they continue that way. That would be really cool. I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Splinter Cell was definitely was something that I was pretty surprised about.
Yeah.
And actually, it did have a leak on Amazon as well.
I wouldn't be
But
surprised. It has been 5 years since they brought out Splinter Cell.
right. So, I mean, there are a couple games on here that have been talked about a long, long time ago, and then kind of, I feel like, went out of everyone's radar because it's been talked about so long and nothing's happened. Like Borderlands 3 was also, it's been rumored for years, and then so they pulled up that was also on one of the games in the leaks, which is one that I'm not super surprised about, but I also don't necessarily know if anything's going to come out of it just because they've been talking about it for so long.
Which one was this?
Borderlands 3.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it this year. Gearbox is kind of on its fucking last legs at this
Oh,
point with what
and
they
it's
have.
got the break glass emergency.
Yes, in case of emergency, start development of Borderlands
Borderlands
3 because
3.
they don't have a choice. I've heard that before that they were working on like a very closed alpha of like a 1v1 game that had like abilities in the form of cards that you get from card packs. Yeah, it's about as bad as it sounds. And so I wouldn't have been surprised. I would not be surprised if Borderlands 3 definitely shows up for this. Like totally. Um, but another one on this list, Just Cause 4, which I'm not too sure about, to be perfectly blunt. Just because Just Cause 3 didn't do so well last go around.
Yeah, it didn't, and it was a super duper buggy for the PC. Like the PC port was really bad, and it's like I can
But
expect
then
a
the
new.
console,
Oh, it didn't sell very well though, right? Like at all.
I don't think so. And the worst part about it is the PC version was buggy, but then the console load times
Oh,
were
the loads.
minutes,
Yes, that's
were
right.
minutes long, like 4 or 5
Yes,
minutes. It was terrible.
right.
And I don't know if they ever fixed that.
I think that, I mean, I saw a ton of Just Cause 3 stuff later on in its life. I guess as finally things were worked out, but at the same time, it's like to come out with a totally new Just Cause game. It's like I can expect this stuff from like that other game that is like kind of funny, um, similar to Just Cause.
Uh,
It's
what
like
is
oh,
that? Third
Saints Row,
person?
Saints Row.
Say, oh
Yes,
yeah.
I expect like I can expect like a new Saints Row every year, but like a new Just Cause, I feel like this seems
There's no
somewhat
way.
right. It seems somewhat rushed, or yeah, I kind of, or if it's just kind of like like a last Hail Mary,
You can't really do anything with that though. That's the thing. It's like
right?
they went all out in the third game with the amount of crap that you can do. It's like you can't really go from there. Like
Right, and it's
that
like
was it.
it's a silly game, but it's not like Saints Row silly where you can like literally have an alien abduction and it seems part of the game. You know what I mean? It's like
Or
it's
your character voice can literally just be Nolan
well, no,
North
that's
as
right.
himself,
It's just
or a zombie.
or right, and so I that's my biggest issue with a new Saints, not Saints Row, with a new Just Cause is that it seems
Yeah.
too soon for a fourth release. If anything, it'll be just like the third one, and anything worse, it's it won't bring anything new. Maybe they were both being developed at the same time, but then why wouldn't you have everyone working on a game to make it really good? I don't
Yeah.
know. It just I too
Yeah.
am also a little bit worried about Saints Row. I think that is one for caution, not caution, just cause. Got to get that on my
Speaking
brain.
of, don't worry about it. Speaking of iterations, we've got a new Assassin's Creed.
What
We
I mean at
don't,
this point, like,
of course.
is it a year on the calendar? Assassin's Creed.
It sounds like possibly a 2019 release, but they're gonna show it off this year. Um, honestly, who cares at this point? If you like Assassin's Creed
You're gonna
games,
get it.
you're gonna get it, and
That
it's your thing. I mean,
I thought the
like,
point of Origins was to not have to come out with a yearly thing because it was more of a like an MMO, like where new things would happen daily and stuff.
dude, I mean that's the games as a service thing,
Right.
but knowing Ubisoft, they have to keep it because that is their cash cow. No joke.
Oh, it's
Like
not
that
For
is.
Honor.
Oh god. They're still the
But
weird
they're
thing
doing
about For Honor is
what about
they're still working on it. Like they're still
I
building on
know.
it like Rainbow Six, and they're just doing they're doing seasonal releases and all that stuff. Next season comes out in on the 17th in 3 days. And they're doing some cool shit. And a lot of it is just reworking like and updating previous characters.
But
So that
also
way,
that's the weird thing
it's
about Ubisoft. It's like you've got the Division, you've got For Honor and Rainbow Six, and these games were not good at launch. They like a ton of people were
and
super mad, and they've just kept
yeah, and
working
then they
on
just
them.
kept working on them and they got better.
And you're like, wow,
And,
these are good games. But so it's
and
like, I don't know, it's weird.
well, now they're working. They announced the Division 2. Like this was technically a part of the leak, but we already knew about it beforehand. Like
Yeah,
they
though they
announced
talked
it
about, yeah,
like last month
they
or
actually
so.
announced it. Yeah, so the Division
Yeah,
Two, we know that's definitely not nothing.
I'm very interested to know where they're going to go with it, with how much they have learned from the first game. And to be honest, I hope that they they really do work on the dark zone thing that they had in the first game, but either that or completely scrap it, because I even from what I've heard, like I feel like dark zone as a concept kind of failed, even with all the reworking and all the stuff that they've done. Like they didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
But like what they did later on with like the battle royale kind of mode that they had, which funny enough, when they released it, that was the first actual battle royale mode that was completely done. It wasn't early access, anything like that. It was just done, and it was really good, supposedly,
Right.
with the mechanics that they had. Simply because like you were infected, so you had a time limit. It wasn't like a circumference that you had to stay in and all that stuff, and you had to make sure you stayed warm and things like that. So like there were multiple things that could kill you along with along with other players. It was super cool. Like I would totally get back in that game and try that just because. But I mean, I have to buy DLC for it, and I kind of don't want to now since they've got
Yeah.
the expansion whatnot.
I I hope that if the Division basically resets everything for Division 2, which I feel like is kind of standard at this point, maybe give somebody cosmetics and stuff like that if they play the first one. But if it's kind of like a fresh start, yeah, I'll get it. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm kind of excited for that, but that's not necessarily a new
I'm
league.
excited to see what they did. Like I enjoyed what I played with in the beginning of the Division, but then it kind of turned to shit because that was the early on, and I never came back to it. I never did, but I just from looking at what they've done, I kind of wish I did.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
Next thing, Destiny, what is known as Destiny Comet.
Comet, yes.
Uh, they call it Comet because that's actually in like their timeline of like in their in-house updating. They call it Comet because it's a giant thing that's going to land at a certain point. The Destiny 1 to the Taken King was the Comet of D1 back then, and then right after that was Rise of Iron, like a year and a half, 2 years later. That is a no-brainer because we already know that that's going to be a thing. But I guess it's there. Of course, this is just the reveal of what we're going to see with what's going to happen with Destiny 2 come September. I've been playing the most recent expansion after taking a long hiatus after playing a little bit of Curse of Osiris expansion, which was not good. From what I've been seeing so far, I'm liking what they're kind of doing here. I just hope that they just keep going with it because right now this is the last expansion Warmind of the Destiny 2 release like cycle. So now we're finally out of that murky, crappy water, kind of like with D1, the exact same issues that they had. And then the Taken King came in and really helped fix a lot of that problem. So hopefully with this new major DLC that's coming in September, hopefully we can get some good news out of it.
I have low expectations.
I understand.
I don't know why they would accidentally post um, a hard copied Destiny comment on Walmart's site because you would just
Because
buy
we don't
that.
know the name of it.
Right, but you wouldn't buy that as an extra as another game disc. You know what I mean? You would just buy the DLC. So it's like, are they going to do
Yeah.
another Taken King where you have to buy the game as well? Um,
I hope
which
not.
would
I that
be so dumb. That
Well,
would
for
be.
people who don't own D2, you could probably get a $60 version that that comes with everything as a disc
Oh, and you think
with
that
all
may
the
be it
DLC.
that they
But
accidentally.
I wouldn't be surprised if this DLC is either $30 or $40.
Right.
I don't remember how much Rise of Iron was. I think it was maybe 30 or 40.
Yeah.
But for what it had, I thought that was pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I didn't. I played the Taken King. Played that for actually kind of a long time.
You did.
And I enjoyed. I did. I really didn't. But then I stopped. And then I stopped at Destiny. Well, I mean, basically right when they dropped the first DLC, I didn't pay for it. I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
I haven't played Destiny since at all.
Don't worry, you are not missing
And
much.
and so like
If you were to come back, I would recommend coming back in September when this drops.
I don't.
If it actually is good, you
Yeah,
know.
that's the thing. It's like I have such low expectations. I mean, there are so many other things that I'd rather play at this point
I don't.
than basically Destiny at the Taken King. You know what I mean? It's like we had
Yeah.
that game already.
Now, speaking of other games to play, now we go into what Bethesda was talking about. This is why we can't have nice things. One of the game that was leaked was Rage 2. Now, for those who do not remember what Rage 1 was, this was the basically
Like
the
Mad
tech
Max
demo
E.
essentially of the id Tech 5 engine
Yeah.
or whatever the Doom game uses, the most newest Doom.
It was a sandy game with it looked
Kind of
very
like
pretty.
a post apocalyptic world, kind of like Mad Maxy style.
But with like actual mutants.
Yeah, and first person shooting. I never beat it, but I did enjoy what I played.
Same, but it was so
Kind
on
of bland.
it was extremely bland. There was almost no story to speak of, and it was so linear. It almost felt like a rail shooter to some degree.
Even though it was an open world game, it still felt like a super linear game.
It was only open world because you had to drive to the next destination, and that was about it. Because the second you got to a place, I mean, it was like tight corridors. But yeah, I'm surprised that there was a Rage 2, unless they drastically changed it, or if there's a new engine that they want to show off, like when Crysis used to do.
Well, the problem is that Bethesda doesn't have a whole lot of titles, and I mean, right now they're out of options of what to make now because I mean they've got Quake, but I mean that's
And
the weird
they
free to
could
play
just
game.
make a new game. You know what I mean? It's like stop.
They
Like
they just did Doom not too long ago. They just did Wolfenstein, the New Order, or whatever the hell, which didn't sell well. They just did the Evil Within 2, which I need to go back and keep playing, but backlog is real, motherfucker. Also, Boy Simulator 2018, which AKA God of War, I've been playing a whole lot of. But yeah, they don't really have a whole lot of games besides maybe making a new Elder Scrolls. But good luck with that, with the amount of times that they keep porting Skyrim.
Yeah. Yep. The
Um,
Skyrim needs to be. It's coming to the phone soon. It'll be on the phone.
don't say that.
It's gonna be on the. It's
Todd Howard
gonna.
hears you right now, and
It's
he's
gonna
like,
be on the
this sounds
Nokia
like a
N
great idea.
gauge. We're gonna put this on the N
Yeah,
gauge
yeah, totally.
for the
Yeah,
three
Stuart,
people.
it was totally a crap Borderlands, kind of, yeah, with way
Oh
less
yeah.
gun customization.
No, it was worse than that. It was like at least Borderlands had a personality. I didn't like Borderlands. Actually, Caleb and I talked about this last week. Games that are loved by everyone, but Caleb and I personally don't like. And I brought up Borderlands, and I don't like
The original
Borderlands.
one or
I
the
didn't I didn't
second
like any of them.
one? Oh, okay, yeah, no, I get that.
But
That's
y-
yeah,
that was fun. You would have had fun. That's what
yeah,
you get for not being here.
yeah.
Okay,
Hey man, I was Bahamas.
I know. Oh, I know.
Can't you see? I'm tan. I'm no
It's
longer pasty white. This will last a week and it'll be gone. Next, of course, Forza Horizons 5. I mean, I've never played any of the Forza games. They seem like fun. And yeah, I guess that's about it, really. I mean,
yeah, I
it's
have
a
no.
racing game
That's
and,
it.
open world 8 racing game and yada, yada, yada. But okay,
Yep.
sure.
That's agree. Yep, that's it. Yep.
And I guess the last major kind of game that's on this list. Actually, also, we've got Dragon Quest 2
But we
on
think that
here.
may be a typo.
We don't know because, Dragon Quest 11 just came out.
Right, so it could be Dragon Quest 12
And whether or not this
or
actually comes out to the US is beyond me, considering those games never come out to the West.
yeah, it's so Dragon Quest 2 is kind of questionable. No idea what kind of like what that's about. We don't know if it's
Yeah.
it's that's really weird. Are you gonna say the next one?
You mean Lego DC Villains? Which I mean,
Which
if
I
you,
mean,
if you like the Lego games, sure.
and they are
But
they're
like,
charming as heck,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so
they're super charming, but they're super shallow and all that jazz.
oh,
But
absolutely. I'm
if
curious.
if that's your thing, go for it,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. Uh,
Enjoy yourself. And then finally on this big old list of major things, we got Gears of War 5, which
which had
yeah,
no idea. That was a surprise.
that makes sense considering 4 ended on a big cliffhanger, which suggested that the main character's or the second main character, the girl, her mom was the queen of the Locust from the first game.
Didn't they do something like
that?
with? It wasn't like Dom's wife involved in something like that in the other one. Oh,
No. Dom's wife died like in
oh
Gears
yeah,
of
yeah.
War 2 or
No,
some shit.
and you
Where
grabbed
they
her.
find her and like she's like a decrepit
Yeah,
skeleton, basically.
yeah. I remember that part. I
Yeah.
thought someone's wife or like they maybe it was just 4. I didn't play
It was
4.
it was the second character's mother that went missing or something like that. And like she died, and like apparently she had like an heirloom or something like that, and literally it's the symbol of the Locust. So like it's supposedly like she's like the next in line to be queen or some shit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know the lore behind Gears because it's like, is it do you
I
just
haven't played
inherit
since
it
3.
or it's
I don't,
like
dude. I don't know.
yeah,
I
I don't know.
mean, I don't.
Because I thought the queen was just like some chick. Like I thought she just like
No
sympathized with
one
them.
really knows. That's the problem. I have no idea. It was just some lady that appeared out of nowhere.
It was, yeah. That's exactly what happened.
And apparently Marcus is dead at the end of 3. He's just like, I'm here. I'm not dead. Oh, now I'm dead.
Stuart says Gears of War is what happens when you cross a bad soap opera with space marines, and he's
Yeah,
right.
you're totally not wrong.
It is
I
it is
mean,
a
look,
real bad soap opera.
I love
Stop.
Gears of War 1
Stop.
through 3. I
Stop.
enjoy them. But beyond that, I do not care anymore. I'm tired of that game. I don't own an Xbox. I just don't care anymore.
I
I
can't.
don't even know how much it's sold on either PC or the Xbox One. I have no idea.
I was under the assumption that it didn't sell very well because I didn't buy it, and that's just how I assume things. If I don't own it, no one does.
Well, that's just mean like I don't think this movie did well in theaters.
Oh
because
my
I
god,
didn't
that
go
was
see it.
insane. So Marshall goes, I don't think Black Panther's gonna do all that well in theaters.
I thought it was gonna be like another Thor movie where it's like, it's okay,
it's
but
a-
it didn't
it's a
really
good-
do super well.
$1 billion later, literally.
Okay.
But it's okay. Marshall's not the movie guy. It's forgivable. It's absolutely forgivable.
It's unforgivable. Come on, starring Clint Eastwood.
Unforgivable.
Starring Clint Eastwood. Okay, so with those things out of the way, I do have information regarding In terms of Sony's press conference, I've actually been paying attention to Skill Up. If anyone knows him, go check him out on YouTube. He has another channel called Layman Gaming, and they just recently had an episode about talking about Sony's press conference. And supposedly, the whole gist of the press conference is doing 4 major games. Like that's going to be their big thing, and they'll have presentations on these 4 games.
So
Like
like
in terms of
that's it.
demos,
So they're just
I
gonna do.
I think it'll be kind of like how they did it last time, where you had a big game that had a demo to start with, and then like they had that interspersed within, sectioned off into quarters with a bunch of little things like trailers and stuff to go through the rest of it and all that jazz, which would make sense because I don't think, be honest, spending nothing but 4 games for an entire press conference seems a little ridiculous because then that would imply that each demo would be like 15 minutes long and there's no way in hell.
There is no hell.
There is no hell nor heaven in any
Um,
dimension that they're going to do that.
So that's interesting. Do you think that? I mean, so would they just do like Last of Us Part 2, Spider-Man,
Okay,
and
so
like 2
here's the
other?
thing.
Yeah.
Um, more than likely, it's going to be this. It's going to be Spider-Man, which is coming out this September, which would make sense because they're going to want to hype the fuck out of it. Like no joke, because it's a first party title. Like that's not coming to anything else but for PlayStation. So, and they haven't really shown a whole lot of that game. So they're probably going to want to show it off in like a near kind of closer to completed state, which makes sense. Second game supposedly is actually going to be Death Stranding.
Oh, really?
God forbid, and actually possibly gameplay.
Man,
Considering the last time we saw it was over a year ago now at the Game Awards,
yeah.
in an actual in-engine cutscene state, not like a CG trailer, but an actual gameplay.
Has Kojima ever done a CG trailer? I mean, come Metal Gear Solid 4, they've all been in engine.
The first Death Stranding trailer was.
Oh, it was.
Because they hadn't decided on an engine yet.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right about that.
But actually, the second one was because it was in the Horizon engine, and that was the one starring Guillermo del Toro.
I thought so, but that one was in engine though, right?
Yes, that was an engine because at that point they had chosen the engine, which was the engine that Guerrilla Games made for Horizon.
Right.
The third game, off the top of my head, if I can frickin' remember, is going to be. Oh, I hate myself now that I've completely forgotten. Hold on, I have to look this up. Talk amongst yourselves really fucking quickly. Jesus Christ. Hold on.
I can't believe Last of Us Part 2 won't be one.
Oh yes, Last of Us Part 2. That's gonna be. Thank you for reminding me of that one.
Like I would be so
like that'll definitely be a game that they will show off, considering that now the last 2 times that they shown off was cutscenes, like legit cutscenes.
Oh yeah. Well, so Stuart says that Kojima said that Death Stranding should be coming out before 2019. So that is
I believe so. I would
mean,
guarantee that they show gameplay this year.
Right.
Considering
So I mean,
if it's coming out next year, like at this point, they have a gameplay to show off.
You know, they've showed kind of gameplay of Spider-Man, but not really. But if they show 15 minutes of gameplay from each of these games, I mean, that would take up.
That there's no way they're going to do that because that would take too much time. Like that would be so long. Finally, I just remember what the last one was.
Ace Combat VR. Oh
no, do you remember Ghost of Tsushima by Sucker Punch that they showed off last year?
Wait, but Sucker Punch is doing
Ghost of Tsushima. And here's the thing: what I found out what this game is, it's a feudal Japan RPG open world game.
Yes, that's right.
I thought originally it was kind of like a tension stealth game. It's not.
Right.
But it's totally like this is what I wanted freaking Assassin's Creed to do, where you would do feudal Japan ninja shit. But they never did. And so someone decided to be like, yo, let's do this. But now we actually have something that's going to do that. So awesome.
So Sucker Punch is doing Spider-Man 2 as well, or
no? That's Insomniac.
That's right. Insomnia did the Ratchet and Clank games. Sucker Punch did the Infamous games.
Yes.
Yeah, it gets real confusing.
But yeah, those are going to be possibly the 4 games that they're going to be showing off, like the main things they're going to be showing off, along with more than likely maybe some other trailers for things like actual trailers. Like honestly, if I don't see Devil May Cry 5 on the PlayStation stage, I'm gonna
Oh,
be upset.
interesting. So
They
that's a good
have
point.
been the voice actors have been teasing that for like a year now.
I
I swear to God, if they don't fucking show it off in some shape or form, I'm gonna be pissed.
I so it would be a Devil May Cry 5 and not a sequel to DMC.
No, it is going to be a Devil May Cry 5, a sequel
Interesting.
after 4,
4.
which I wouldn't
So
be
Nero
surprised if
would
they
be in
pick.
it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they picked up with Nero,
I
which
hated Devil May Cry 4.
I know because they made you replay
It was
everything.
1/3 a game.
I know because they ran out of freaking time, and Capcom was like, "No, we need to get it out now," which
Stuart
didn't
just
make sense
oh,
because
yeah.
that was the year that Call of Duty came out, the
Stuart
same
just
month, I think.
asked, "Do you think that they are going to announce their next gen console?"
No,
I don't think
uh,
so. I don't think anyone's
from
coming out
what
with
I've heard with
another console.
from what I've heard with PlayStation, they've made no notion about the future of the PlayStation brand, which means when they say that, that usually means hardware. But there's been nothing about that, nothing at all except for
Right.
games.
And Stuart, I think you're looking for Gears of Death Stranding, Ninja Ace Combat VR. I think that'll be the game for you.
That would be great.
That would.
That I'm actually am excited to see more about Ace Combat VR, because if that actually turns out to be amazing, I will totally get a VR headset for that game.
Is it? Is it Vive, PlayStation?
Mm. No, I think it's just the PSVR headset, whatever
Okay.
they call it.
Yeah,
You're
it's
thinking of the
PSVR.
HTC Vive,
I mean, I
which
know
is
it's
for
just
on
Vive.
PC.
We just say Vive. We
Do
just
you
say
know
Vive.
actually modders have taken the PSVR headset and be able to make it work on PC games?
I mean, that's not too big of an issue. The biggest issue with the PSVR is that it has the lowest resolution out of all the VR headsets.
Supposedly, it still does a pretty good job.
Oh no, I'm not saying it does a bad job. I'm
Yeah,
just saying that it has the lowest resolution of all of the headsets.
yeah.
Um, all right, that's it for our really
Yeah,
tight.
it's a very truncated episode this week, just because we can't be here for long, and unfortunately, Caleb could not be with us this time.
Right, and
Which,
and
sucks, but
it's been a while since we've covered kind of new stuff. So that's new stuff. So that is
yeah,
that's it. So
yeah.
guys, thanks for watching. I'm Josh Raptor. That's Grand Marshal over there. You've heard first our take on the E3 2018 leaks and a little bit of sneak peeks. We will see you next Monday. Oh, and every day on Twitch, I've been streaming me playing Fortnite. It's called Get Good. I am not good at Fortnite, which is why I'm playing it. I play from
Oh
11
no,
to
trust
1.
me, you're not good. I can guarantee you
Oh,
that.
I'm not good. If I was good, the segment would be called Already Good, and that's what
You're
I would be.
not wrong.
So it's called Get Good. I'm learning how to play Fortnite, and I'm learning and also not learning at the same time.
Yep.
But that's part of the Get Good series. See how long it takes for me to actually get good, and you guys will
Yep.
be there as part of the journey. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, thanks
All right,
guys.
everyone. Thanks for
Bye.
watching. Goodbye.
Bye.